Speaker, I join the Prime Minister in paying tribute to the soldier from the 2nd Battalion, the Rifles, who was killed in Helmand Province yesterday. Also, we will remember Lance Corporal Nigel Moffat, Corporal Stephen Bolger, Lance Corporal Kieran Hill, Lance Corporal Robert Richards, Sapper Jordan Rossi and Fusilier Susu. All of them have been killed in the last fortnight, serving their country. We will not forget their sacrifice, and we must care for their families. I also join the Prime Minister in sending condolences to the family and friends of Edwin Dyer, who it's believed has been brutally murdered by terrorists in Mali. This must be a simply horrific time for his family, and I'm sure everyone in the country is thinking about them. In spite of all the difficulties, though, the Prime Minister is right. We must never give in to terrorists. This morning, the Communities Secretary resigned from the Cabinet. This follows yesterday's announcement that the Children's Minister is standing down, the Minister for the Cabinet Office is leaving, and the Home Secretary is resigning. Why doesn't the Prime Minister accept that his ability to command his Cabinet has simply disappeared?
Speaker, I think the first thing that the whole House would want to do is to acknowledge the great work that has been done by both the Home Secretary and the Communities Secretary in the Cabinet. And I think at a time like this, the House should come together to acknowledge contributions that have been made in the public interest. And let me just also say that under the Home Secretary, what we have seen is crime come down. We have seen neighbourhood policing introduced. We have seen the fight on terrorism stepped up. And we have seen better relationships between police and the community. And I have to remind the Conservative Party they doubled crime under a Conservative government and policing numbers were cut.
The Prime Minister is in denial. If these people have done such good work, why are they walking away from their jobs? The Community Secretary's statement does not pay tribute to him or a single one of his policies. Let us be clear about what is happening. The Minister in charge of local government is resigning the day before the local elections. Isn't the fact that she's chosen today, of all days, to go, a direct challenge to his authority?
Mr. Speaker, look, I think some people should take a step back here and understand what's been happening. In the last few weeks, the past few weeks have been difficult for every member on every side of this House. I think people have got to recognise in the politicking that goes on that there have been enormous pressures on people. And while the public are angry, there has also been family pressures on members of this House. And this is true of all sides of the House. And I think we have a responsibility to all members of the House in this. So yes, there are elements of party politics that the right honourable gentleman want to raise, but I think he's got to acknowledge that on all sides of the House there are issues that people want to sort out.
I have to say to the Prime Minister, if this was about expenses, the Communities Secretary would have resigned weeks ago. The fact is, she's chosen to resign today.
Order. Don't shout down the Leader of the Opposition. Do not do that. Order.
Yes.
Order. Remember, there's a danger of the House being suspended if people continue to shout. That's the danger, and there'll be no Prime Minister's question time. Order. And that goes for this side of the House. It goes for this side of the House as well. The Leader of the Opposition.
And I have to say, the Prime Minister talks about pressures. Those pressures on the Communities Secretary and on others in his Cabinet include number 10 directly briefing against them. The fact is, what we see is a dysfunctional Cabinet, a dysfunctional government led by a Prime Minister who cannot give a lead. Can he perhaps at least guarantee this, that there will be no further resignations ahead of his reshuffle?
Mr. Speaker, I hope that he will acknowledge that on all sides of the House the events of the last few weeks have been difficult. And I think it would be unfair for us to pass this question time without acknowledging that in each part of the House people have found it difficulty with the pressures upon them. I want also to pay tribute to the Community Secretary for the work that she has done, because she has brought new relationships between local government and central government with the local government Concordat. She has sponsored urban regeneration in shopping centres in our country, and she's been active in building better relationships with the Muslim communities. And I think at times like this, it is our duty, all of us in all parts of the House, to recognise the contributions that people have made. As for what he says about the government, let me just say we have got two jobs of work to do. One is to clean up the system, the expenses system, where I think everybody else in the House except him agrees that you've got to get action taken now to clean up that system. And I think the second thing is we've got to take this country through the recession. Now, the remarkable thing about the Leader of the Opposition is this is yet another week when there's been not one question on policy.